Okay, so I finally got the TBI roughly working and ready to start finish wiring on the Jeep. This junkyard build only took me about 4 days. Well, about a week. I got the parts last week. I've only been working on it after work for a couple hours or an hour for about 4 days. I'm going to go through it as easy as possible. Because the schematics kind of confuse me sometimes, and it's real easy if you go through this and just figure it out. So this is the 1227747, which is the truck ECM for the Chevy TBI system that you want if you're doing a truck or a Jeep or anything like that. It's the easiest and most supported from what I've seen. It doesn't have an air temperature sensor, which is nice because you don't have to hook that up then. And I'm just doing this running my fuel system. No timing, because I got an HEI for that I'm real happy with 2 wires on it, which was a little confusing compared to the way everybody else had done it. Anyway, the only part that was hard was trying to figure out which wire on my system matched up. And so I'm going to go over this real quick with you, and hopefully now that I do this video, you could probably hook this up in like 2 hours after you got all the parts. Anyway, let's start off with grabbing the isolator block. I grabbed the whole wiring harness, not isolator block, but this is just the power supply. I can't remember what the hell you call it. I got them on my boat and everything else. You just plug the power supply in there and the rest of the ones bolt on. Whatever. I took it all off, so it was an easy reference for me. And I just took one of the battery cables back and just tied it onto my little battery like that, which is not good in the long term, but it's good enough to just test the goddamn thing. Okay, that's great. Now I traced back, I have a 2-wire distributor. Okay, one's battery that are hot, that goes to my ignition right here, and the other one's a tack wire, that green one. Well, my big problem was before I grabbed the wrong green wire in the loom, which I used my own wires for to make my Mega Squirt wire loom before, and that was I was trying to connect the wrong thing to the tack pulse, which is why it didn't fire, because I'm kind of stupid like that. That's what happens when you're stressed out and you rush shit. So anyway, just take the tack wire off your HEI distributor. You might need to use a tag filter depending on what you got. I don't know. I bought one and it's coming in the mail. Everybody says I don't need it, but I'm going to put it on there as a safety measure anyway so I don't fry the ECU eventually if something happens. Anyway, so that tack wire I connected to this purple and white wire in the loom. Trace back that purple and white wire. It goes around and around and around into this loom connection. Great, okay. And it comes out here, and it goes and ends up somewhere in this shithole. It ends up, I believe, as C9. Yay, there's the purple-white wire. Okay, that's good. Got that, right? Good to go. Now you're going to see an ignition source. Yeah, I'm going to put this on a relay eventually, but just to see if it worked, I connected it to my ignition hot wire that went to that distributor. Here in the block, I just kind of shoved it in with a screwdriver. It's pink with a black stripe. So, pink with a black stripe is always your ignition hot. Great. Pink with a black stripe goes around into the loom, and it ends up in the computer on A6. A6 right there. Okay. Now that tells your computer to turn on, right? What about power for the ECU? Well, it's all these frickin' orange wires. All these frickin' orange wires run back into this damn block. So if you pull it off, it makes it a lot easier, right? Oh, yeah, there's your power going to the battery. Duh. Goes to the battery over there. That was lightning simple, just to check it out. Woohoo! We're rolling now. Now, I already had my TBI set up for that Mega Squirt where I was having problems with, so I just plugged in the injectors and and the TPS, throttle position sensor, and the IAC, which has got a little broken thing. I'm going to have to get another plug for that. But it works for now. Basically everything on this TBI is new. All new. Except for the TPS sensor. That's the only thing I used aftermarket or out of the junkyard setup because they seem to work fine. I got a couple of those laying around. Big problem with this system when I set it up was it was only firing on one injector after I figured out that damn tack wire problem. But the injectors were firing with batteries and all kinds of shit, so I didn't figure out what was wrong. But you know, if you keep switching the wires and only that new injector I'd bought a while ago trying to track down a problem before was working, and this one's not working, and you switch the wires, well, that only leads you to one conclusion: this fucking injector is shot. Even though it's opening and closing with the battery and whatnot, something's fucked up in it. So I went today and got a new injector on this side, and lo and behold, now it runs like a striped S8. Go fucking me. So hey, if you're gonna do this, I would suggest buy a throttle body and just start replacing everything. I mean, you can use the junkyard IAC and try to figure out if it works, the TPS and everything else, but fuel injectors, just replace those fuckers. Just get new ones. It's worth it for all the stupid fucking hassle I went through. All right. What else is there? Ground. Oh, yeah. Ground. Everybody's talking about you need to ground it on the engine, so I went back over here, and I went to put it on the engine, and I put it down here on the block where I had a spare place. Oh, yeah, and this boot was coming off, which I can never find these damn boots in the store, so I have to reuse the old shitty ones, and it's cracked, and I hit the wrench on there and thought I fried my alternator. But the alternator tester on my battery charger said it was okay, so don't fucking do that. Don't be an idiot like me. Anyway, here's where I had all my negative ground wires for the starter and shit going to the block, so I just plugged this piece in here. This is the ground for everything on that fucking motor. Or the ECU. ECM is what they call it, sorry. ECM, the Chevy ECM computer for fuel injection. So I just tied it way down here for now. And I'll probably end up keeping it there when I wire it through the firewall and shit. So, okay, there's your ground. Everything's grounded to the engine block there, so we should be good, right? Okay. So let's go over this. Battery, major battery cable snakes its way over to here for now. Yep. And that's going to work. Okay, you can jury rig that if you want to try it. This is the tack wire. Or excuse me, the green is the tack wire. Connected to that purple and white one. Okay, which was, again, is C9. And then your ignition wire is A6, a pink with the black stripe here. Okay, and that's connected to your ignition relay. I gotta put relays in and shit. Great, wah wah wah. And then there's your fuel pump. I pulled the whole fuel pump assembly off with the relay. And that was a good job. I would just keep that fucking thing, because that way you don't have to wire in the fuel pump so much. Just wire that wire straight to the fuel pump. What wire is that? It's gray. The gray wire coming off this thing when you get all the grounds and shit wired in. See, all the power's already connected pretty much. I don't know what this red one does. It doesn't work. I don't know. I've connected the shit before. I might figure it out later, but it works. I got power to it. It switches the power over to the gray into my jury-rigged fuel pump line. Okay, so that's good. Great, we're going good now. The only thing left is the map sensor. I don't have a map sensor connected. Oh, and the oxygen sensor, which is right here. I just laid it over there so it can get in the way. I got an O2 sensor pulled off that wreck at the junkyard. But you don't have to connect it now to start it because it'll go into limp home mode. Same thing with the map. Ain't going to run great, but it'll run. So I got to get a map from the junkyard. Map sensor. Put it on there because I don't want to pay $60 out of my pocket right yet. I'll just get a couple of bad ones or a couple of junk ones. And one I think somebody's replaced, and then I got to get another connector for this so it snaps over and stays in. Wire that puppy in there. Okay, so everything's good to go, right? Make sure that this fuse that goes to your relay is in and that it's good. Again, it's got the gray wires. That's somewhat important. Shit, everything's connected, right? So it should start. Well, let's see. Oh, pump came on. Pump shut off. That's good. That's good. Now let's see if it starts. Woo! So you too can build this if you have no fucking clue what you're doing now that I've showed you all the goddamn wires to connect. Because I fucking hate schematics like you wouldn't believe. Fries your brain after 8 hours of work and doing all your other shit when you come home. But you can watch a video pretty much and do this. Look at it run with no map sensor or O2 sensor. And a bird's nest laying on the fucking engine. Yes. Oh, how's it run? Well, let's see. That's limp home mode. I'm happy with limp home mode. Okay, so hopefully this helps you guys out. And my name's Jason Hoffman, and I'm the idiot who did this. And I'm hoping that I made it so that any other idiot like me can do this with not too much experience, all right? Woohoo! Go get 'em.